Oh yes, legends. How's everybody doing? Hope you're doing fantastic. Happy Friday to everybody. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Much love to everyone. Thanks for joining today's stream. Let's analyze the situation here all together and see what is going on here with the price of Bitcoin. So we did get a little drop to the downside, and we did manage to get a nice little bounce here. We dropped down to the low 65k levels, and we managed to get a little bit of a bounce throughout today of a couple of $1,000, nothing too major. Do we form another lower high as per the thumbnail, or are we breaking out? Is this one wave created? This is another wave, and now the next wave is to the upside. Are we gearing up for that movement to take out $72,000 in the next coming days, or is it just another lower high, guys? Now, the invalidation is quite close. It is coming all the way up at 68.4k. Taking out that high will be looking very, very interesting for the bulls, at least locally. I get it that we are in a bear market, guys. I know some people are going to say we're going down to 50k, 40k, right? Yeah, this is only midterm possible wave scenarios, okay? Now, the bearish case scenario here locally is to form another lower high. Now, we have a little bit of a problem to count an impulsive move here. So there's no nice major impulse. So we now need to take a look at this as multiple 1-2s. Now, the order invalidation would be the latest second wave. In this case, it is at 68.4k. Hitting that level, then we realize that this wave could be finished. Could be finished to the downside. And there's several ways on how the price could move. It could move impulsively throughout the next coming days. You get the movement up, you take out the highs, you might get a correction down. Could be interesting to look for higher if we correct to the downside. We do have many other scenarios just moving up in a zigzag, where we do form a double zigzag here, where you would have a wave W in a zigzag, your corrective wave X in a double zigzag. And now we just look for another zigzag to the upside, right, in the next coming days. Bearish case scenario, right? That's a little bit of hopium for the bulls. We finished a 3-wave move to the upside right over here, and we're moving down with stacked 1-2s, which is just going to end up breaking down, right? Friday dump. Will we get that Friday dump with New York Open? Now, we did get the data here of inflation, which was lower than expected, 2.4%. Here on inflation rate. Core inflation was was slightly lower. It was actually the same, 2.5. Forecast was 2.5. So inflation is pretty stable. It's actually gone down here. And we can see the S&P 500 getting a little pump reaction when that came out, as we can see. Now, New York Open starts in 5 minutes. Do we get the pump of the news because of the good inflation and then dump? Or do we continue the momentum? That is the question. I need to know your answer in the comment section. What do you think happens, guys? Because Bitcoin also is at a very, very crucial zone to see if we do get continuation to the downside, right? If the bears don't want to claim that lower high, because that would invalidate the multiple 1-2s. We'll break down everything. We'll talk about the levels and the different scenarios, looking at the waves like we do all the time, and the most important levels of resistance and support where we could find some trading opportunities. I have to say, down here at 65k zone, late last night or early this morning, if you wish, depending on where you are in the world, there was actually not a bad opportunity. Shout out to Devalt in today's stream, was talking about the potential breakout here of the trend. So far, so good. Okay, where we're looking for this momentum to be finished, maybe at this level. But this is a zone of fake out. It's a zone of fake out of trend as well. You could form another lower high here in that multiple 1-2 and then end up rolling over, guys. Okay, so invalidation is simple. Invalidation for the bears is this one. Invalidation for the bulls is this one. You want to maintain that low as we speak, based on the WXY. We talked about this inside of the trading community yesterday. We had the possibility of forming a WXY. We'll cover this on today's live stream, but this is something that we talked about yesterday when we were trading in this area at $67,500 range. We could get that movement down to the low 65k zone and get a reaction. We got a little bit of support down here based on the extension, and we did drop down with a bit of volume. We claimed the local lows, and we had a little consolidation. This is what we want to see to realize, okay, we can get that movement to the upside just at the very low 65k levels. That is this movement right over here that we had yesterday evening, night, right, depending on where you are. So let's say hello to the beautiful community right away, and we'll break down the different scenarios here for Bitcoin. Okay, smash up the like button if you do enjoy the content. If you see the education, you can see the power of technical analysis, Elliott wave theory and levels, and good risk management, as we do here always. Sad, how are you doing? The Honorable Legend Andy, much love, Matt, to you. Thank you for joining. Happy Friday to everybody. I hope you have got some great plans for the weekend. Spend time with friends, family, have a good time. Don't go too crazy, and hope you enjoy the weekend. I was Googling sexy man doing BTCTA on Google, referred me to here. Absolutely. Thank you very much for the kind words, Jerome. Much love, Path Maria Vallejos. Let's go. Much love to you, Axi Kuno. Hello, hello. I will only turn bullish once BTC reclaims 70k. There's many different strategies. We'll talk about a few, kind of swing trade setups, and also talk about day trading scenarios as well. Okay, I know a lot of people might have 9-to-5 job. They don't have too much time to look at the charts, and they just want to get into a trade and give a bit of room for stop loss, and to treat more as a trade as a swing trade, 2-to-1, 3-to-1 risk reward. Be a bit chilled about the situation. But we are degen. We like to go to the lower time frames and look for those potential entry points, right, where we do have a possibility to maintain risk much better. Nico Sopi, how are you doing, my man? Thanks for joining today's stream. Friday party with Andy, much love. Path Maria Vallejo. What's up? What's going on? What's going on? Much love. Very, very boring price range. That is very true. Sanjay Yan, it is. It is very much. Is this a fake pump right now? It's very possible. Smash the like for the TA specialist. Much love to you. I have to say, many shorts entering, says what's up. Many shorts entering. I can see many longs entering, at least on Bybit. Bybit degen traders have been stepping in here. We got 12 million on the delta just in the last 30 minutes. Okay, here at exactly $67,200, we got 12 million entering here. Okay, at the highs. So that is creating naturally, okay, that spike here on the CVD. There's no bearish CVD divergence, I have to say. All right, there's no higher highs on the CVD from this pivot. It's just a bunch of longs entering here on Bybit. You never like to see longs entering here at the high. And if they don't have any power, it's a little bit, can they push through? Can they push through? They are struggling right now with that 12 million, okay, entering at this zone. Anyway, we'll break down a few things. Andy Man, brother, another mother. Much love to you. Thanks for sharing, watching from Tokyo. Absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. Triangle breakout and retest on the 1 minute, easy scalp. Triangle breakout, we can talk about that on the 1 minute. Easy scalp, he says. Spicy noodle, we can talk about the very, very low time frame. Triangle breakout. On the 1 minute time frame, easy scalp. Little bit of a triangle. I guess you're talking about this triangle if we're talking about the 1 minute. Yeah. It is the 1 minute. It's trying to break out those lower highs if you connect it like this or like that, right? Triangle breakout, easy scalp. I'm not sure. I'm not a fan of trend breaks, okay? I'm not a fan, but of course it could play out. If you're a degen scalper, just maintain risk eventually. If you're attempting that scalp, I don't trade like that. You guys know that. So anyway, let's break down the technical analysis. Guys, what's going on? What's going on? Shall we cover the 15 minute, okay, to the 5 minute? Do we do a little bit of a higher time frame, 4 hour? Understand the movement down? Let me know in the comment section. Do we go to the lower time frame, right? Try and understand the bounce. Try and understand this movement down. This was the zone that was actually pretty interesting to take a long position on this consolidation. All right, the main reason why was we had the possibility of forming a WXY where we have wave W right there, your wave X right over here, and a zigzag move down. Okay, so you got the zigzag relatively fast. You got your X wave here, sideways momentum. This can be either a running flat or a sideways WXY. You can count both of them in this range, and then another impulse down, complex correction, and another impulse to the downside here to finish that double zigzag. Interestingly enough, we did hit the 1236 Fibonacci, just scratched it. We just scratched the 123C, 1236 Fibonacci extension, which is a common target for a WXY double zigzag. And this was actually one of the levels that was mentioned inside of the community, one of the scenarios. We were trading in this zone. What we need to see is an impulsive move to the downside here, all right, where we can see the waterfall happening with increasing volume, and then we actually consolidate at the low 65K levels. This is your trigger. This is what we explain also inside of the trading community to teach people what we're looking at, okay, how to read the waves, how to read the levels of support. This is exactly how the price moved. We continued in this range. We did take out almost 68K zone with a little pump yesterday. It was looking okay for a retracement long. However, we did a live stream yesterday, me and Devil. It was too soon to take the long. Okay, we needed to cross that 382 Fibonacci time on the lower time frame. It was a little bit too, we understood the corrective move here eventually. Got the movement down, took out the local lows, and started slowing down here at the low 65K level. By the way, guys, if you're interested in the community, there's daily updates on the lower time frame, guys, to understand where we can look for those opportunities, what we need to see on the next movement. And the price action, of course, we do cover a few scenarios, and on those few scenarios, there are hidden trading opportunities. This was a very, very good level to attempt that long position here at the low 65K levels, because we did get that drop and we did get the slowdown, guys, exactly at the 1236 extension when we do consider the bullish case scenario, which is a zigzag correction in X and another zigzag to the downside. Absolute beauty. Now the bulls do have a chance to spit out and go to higher prices, and the bears want to maintain. By the way, if you're interested in the community, the trading community, super simple. Send me a DM with the word access. You just need to sign up through one of the affiliate exchanges, do a minimum deposit, and we'll jump you in, okay? Send me the word access on Telegram. This is what we do every single day, explaining the internal movements, bearish scenario, bullish scenario, and behind those scenarios, you can see that it's, you know, we on these different scenarios, how the price can develop. We don't know which one is going to develop, but as we get the development, right, we understand, you know, maybe this was the long position before taking out 72K. It's worth maintaining some of that long position for anybody that did actually long there. We need to talk about the bearish case eventually, right? It's not all bullish, it's not all bearish. It's all about where to get into those trading positions, right? This has the possibility of taking out $72,000. This could be a finished correction to the downside, and we're heading up to plus 72K in the next coming days, right? People don't like to be bullish when we are downtrending. People like to be bullish when we already moving up, right? And we are here to try and detect where a wave could finish and get that leg to the upside. So let's go through, let's stick around with this bullish case scenario. There's two ways on how this, well, there's actually a couple of ways on how this could develop. All right, we need to break it down. We need to break it down. The last lower high is this one at 72.2K. We know that, right, from the bounce. This bounce can be, the interesting thing about this bounce, because of this momentum that we had here, this little range, you can fit a 3-wave move here, but you could also fit a 5-wave move here to the upside. So this pivot right over here can actually be a wave 1, It can be a wave A or it could be a wave W. And you're like, oh my shit. Here we go again with W, X, Z, Y, 1, 2, 3, and numbers, right? And you know, here we go again, right? It's trying to understand where we are in the map, right? Where we are in the map. And there is that possibility. I'm sorry, but this was the most interesting movement to analyze very, very carefully. Of course, you know, we're sticking with the bullish case right now. Okay, then we'll go through the bearish case scenario. Bears don't want to see this lower high being claimed. Okay, we had New York Open. What is the S&P 500 getting a little bit of a move down here? A little bit of a move down here on the S&P 500 as we speak. So we pumped on the inflation data, and now we are moving to the downside. Of course, there is that correlation with the S&P 500 and Bitcoin. So if the S&P 500 decides here it wants to nuke down and take out these lows and move to lower prices, Bitcoin probably will not hold on here, right? It's just a reality. It is what it is. There is that correlation. So we don't want to see, you know, do we get that Friday dump on the S&P 500? That would naturally not help Bitcoin, okay, in the bullish case scenario. So going through the bullish case scenario, by the way, it's simple. If this is going to take out $60,000, say in the next coming days, maybe next week, if it is going to be bearish, right, then it is very important that this lower high remains. We'll explain that in the next coming minutes, okay? If that high is taken, it's looking better to take out this high, okay, or continue a complex correction, all right, and then maybe move down. But this is where the probabilities increase to take out this high in the next coming days. That will be explained, of course, all right, in the next coming minutes when we cover the bearish case scenario. Let's cover the bullish one at the moment, which is what we're talking about right now. Regarding the levels, when we talk about levels, we didn't have much levels down here. It was a lot of Fibonacci extension. We had the value area low, which, you know, got the fake out, right? Fake out of value area low of this range. Okay, we reclaimed it. Now trying to get that push to the upside. Looking at this range, not many big support here, I have to say. Little 3-hour order block in this zone. And, you know, we are holding. So we're going mainly with the waves and the structure and the timing here. Bullish scenario, as mentioned, wave 1, wave A, or wave W. Okay. If this is a wave 1 to the upside, right over here, where we can count a 5-wave impulsive move right over here in this structure. What we could be seeing next, this could be your wave 1. This could be your wave 2 that has retraced down to the 50% Fibonacci, almost taking the golden pocket, missed the golden pocket by a few $100s. That's already a nice common retracement zone for a wave 2. It is valid. There is the possibility of a finished structure here in that double zigzag. Timing looks good. When we take a look at Fibonacci time, we're crossing the 1-to-1. We can double check here, but it is pretty nice with timing, pretty symmetrical, just crossing the 1-to-1. So this timing is looking okay as well to finish this structure. Now, if you wanted to say, you know, if you are bearish, and we explain this, your invalidation, we'll go through the bearish case scenario. This is a stop loss zone. If this turns out to be multiple 1-2, and we are looking for that Friday dump and that wave 3, and it collapses several $1,000s, this lower high is super important, okay, which naturally would be a stop loss. Getting stopped out is totally fine. You manage your risk. You see the risk to reward potential. It's a valid short trade based on the bearish case scenario, okay? Now, but we like to cover bullish and bearish, right? But that would be the invalidation, right? When you understand about the multiple 1-2s and how important that lower high is to not be claimed, you know, this is a valid short entry with stop loss here. 1% to maybe gain 3-4% in the next coming days. For the long trade, ideally you would have got in this zone. Okay, this was explained throughout yesterday's morning update inside of the trading community. You know, if you are looking for a long, for me, with the information that we had here, this retracement was a bit too aggressive. You know, there's no long here to be taken, at least on my side, with this aggressive. It was looking interesting, but we wanted to hold here for a little bit and then, you know, decide if we can get into that double 1-2. That was not the case. The drop was very ferocious, right? Remain patient, understand the probabilities. But the long trade to be taken was best in this zone when you get that exhaustion at one of the fib extensions, which in this case is the 1, 2, 3, 6, okay, of this potential double zigzag, okay, to the downside. We just gently just tap that level and consolidated here. That's your long entry when you do get that 4-5 after the high volume move, right? We explain this a lot of times, right? You get a high volume move and then you slow down. That slowdown, which is this one out over here, is your trigger. That's your trigger to understand that we're unlikely going to move lower. This could be a wave 5. We could bounce. And with the higher time frame structure, it has the potential of being bullish. It has the potential of finishing this second wave or the B wave or the X wave. It doesn't really matter, right? It has the potential, and that's what we trade. We trade good levels, we manage risk, and we trade the possibility movements, right? So with that said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wave 1, sorry. We're going with wave 1 first of all. Wave 2 potential, absolutely, it is there. Now what you want to see, okay, if this is a wave 1 and a wave 2, what we would be looking at here is the beginning stages of an impulse, right? Because inside of an impulse, if you're looking for an A, B, and a wave C, most commonly, okay, obviously to take out the highs in a zigzag, right? Just a natural zigzag to the upside to take out 72K. This first move to the upside needs to be, you know, a possible wave 1 and 2, right? Because, you know, later on, what you're looking at is a wave 3, 4, and 5, right? You're looking to see if you can form a third wave here. Is this your first wave 1, double 1-2, or you have a 1-2, 1-2 still on the formation, and then you break out in the third wave, maybe coming into Sunday, right? We get a Sunday pump, right? And we're just going to grind here slightly to the upside throughout the next coming days. It is very much a possibility. Of course, when we do go to the lower time frames, what we want to understand here is you do have already that possibility here of this being a leading diagonal right there. There is a possibility of this being a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There is overlap, but you got that leading diagonal correction here in your wave 2. And now you're busy here with maybe your wave 3, right? Maybe your wave 3 is still not finishing, or another 1 and 2. You don't want to claim this higher low. The moment you claim this higher low, so for anybody that is leaning on the bullish side, which is this one that we are explaining right now, because this is what happens, right? When you need to understand, maybe it is the beginning stages, right, of the 1, 2, and we're going to crack up here in a wave 3, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, right? Maybe on Monday you form a few 1-2s here, but there is that potential already from this zone to pop up, right? And we want to detect that potential. Obviously, this is the best area if you want to catch the low. Your best zone is the low 65K levels here right now. You want to try and detect that solid retracement, all right? Because longing right over here, it's not for me. I do realize that the invalidation locally would be nice to see a pullback, because a 1, 2, and another 1 and 2 right over here, and you start getting that momentum to the upside being built. Your invalidation, okay? And I personally don't like to long FOMO the pumps, okay? But I would want to see a retracement, right? Retracements are the ones that you want to get in, okay, as a possible move to the upside. Devil, shout out to Devil in today's morning stream. He was talking about the trend breakout, which for me is valid. I'm more of a exhaustion, right? We talk about the possibility of really getting exhausted. That is the moment you really want to take that long. Getting into the trend break, it's it is valid because this already has a valid possibility of being a finished move down, a finished downtrend. You just take it differently. Devil was talking about, you could actually long the breakout, stop loss at the low, and this has the possibility of taking out 72k in the next coming days, give or take. Right, might be a week or so, because this could take a little bit of time. I'm more of a get into the little range here, give a bit of room for stop loss, and this is the potential that we do have here to the upside. We did talk about this inside of the trading community already a couple of days ago with that speculative long position, looking at some kind of a corrective structure to the upside and different ways on how to manage this trade opportunity, which is, we have it right over here. So you have a couple of options. This was a few days ago. This was already if I'm not mistaken, the 10th of February. So this was already 3 days ago. We understand that this movement down can be very much corrective. You have the aggressive scenario, like the swing failure pattern. Only if we swing failure pattern, we did not swing failure pattern from this level. It just collapsed down. So we didn't reclaim that level. And what we could be looking throughout the next coming days, right, with the information, regardless, depending on the next information, obviously this slightly changed, but we could be looking for a double zigzag in this case. If you want to take that trade at the low 65k levels, you basically don't have time to watch the chart. We'd give different options here to understand the chart and understand the momentum. Obviously the swing trades just give you a bit of a room of a breather. They're not that good to risk to reward, but still their risk to reward is good, even though if it's a 2-to-1 risk to reward, right? So we give many different options and possibilities, obviously, with making people to manage risk. Okay, so with that said here, by the way, if you want access in the trading community, 2 months for free, send me a DM. You just need to sign up with one of the affiliate links, guys. Minimum deposit for your own trading, and we just provide the daily alpha and possibilities, different setups that could happen, swing trades, day trades, obviously explaining the day trades, because the day trades are not that easy. You need to be very, very active, right, and understanding, what are the next movements. But yeah, anyway, going through this. So we are trying to pop out here. We are trying to pop out to the upside. It's just grinding to the upside. I have to say something interesting with the bearish case scenario. I just wanted to see if this is another wave one, because it did move down in an impulse. Is the timing, and the timing. Sorry guys, I'm just going out here because this is something that was, this bounce already. You can see how long it is from this movement down. If this is going to be a wave one, you're already creating these highs after the 4-to-1 Fibonacci time. It's coming to the limit for the bears for a lower high here. When you already cross, you can see here this pinky, right? Vertical line. The red is already lower probability. When you already get to the pink, which is 4-to-1 time from your impulse, it is a little bit too long here at this moment as we are creating these highs for a wave one and a wave two. Bears really need to defend this lower high ASAP, like ASAP. This is like extending too much in time, and obviously the bullish case scenario is looking relatively attractive here to the upside. So lower high or breakout, right? Lower high or breakout. Continuing with this scenario, I have to say, I am not a fan of longing where we are at the moment. Even though if the price leaves, it is what it is. Longing scenarios would have been down here at this little consolidation, as explained yesterday morning inside of the trading community. So But what else? What else? As volume is increasing here, it could pop out. It could pop out already in the wave 3. One scenario here for the bears is this is a 3-wave structure, but wow, you are coming up very, very close here to the 0.88 Fibonacci. Almost tapping it. It did actually tap. Okay, so it's not looking great for the bears. Not looking that great for the bears here with this pump. But, you know, at the end of the day, your invalidation here for the bears is this one, right? The invalidation is this one. You don't want to take that lower high here. So the bears still have a chance here to aggressively reject this level. They do have a chance, no doubt. Continuing with the bullish case, the invalidation for the bulls, if you take out this higher low right over here, you're likely going to take out this low. So you want to maintain this local bullish market structure. You could be gearing up here in that wave 3, right? It pops out and off we go. Off we go, wave 3 on the development. We got 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 is on the formation here. And then you just, you know, continue the momentum, right? You form that impulsive move to the upside, which is going to be nice. You know, the probabilities will increase for the next coming days to take out $72,000. If you missed out on a long position here, or here, Devil did talk about the trend break, stop loss at the low. You know, this is already at a 1-to-1. Okay. I like the pullbacks naturally, or the exhaustions. I'm not much of a trend breakout trader. Very much aware of the fake outs a lot of the times. But if we wanted to consider another long trade with good risk management, that is for the people that did not long here. Bears need to really reject from here. I mean, this is a valid entry. I mean, the risk to reward here, it would be, it is losing probabilities. I think the probabilities are actually increasing to take out this high based on timing, because when we consider this a wave 1, another wave 1, you want to see symmetry from wave 1s and 2s, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. This one is very, very fast. You should have rejected already from this point based on timing. When this extends 4 times longer than your last wave 1, okay, your wave 2 is 4 times, almost going to be 5 times longer than your wave 1. You know, probabilities are decreasing for this to be a wave 2 and roll over. Probabilities are increasing at this point to take out this high based on timing. Based on time, okay? So based on time, it's not looking that great for the bears at this moment for a lower high. And we also already hit 0.88 Fibonacci, which is a rare Fibonacci pivot, okay, for a wave 2. Rare pivot for a wave 2. So what is interesting right now is the bullish case scenario. When we consider a new long, right, a new long trade, this last higher low, going with this scenario, right, regardless if we are going to be forming a 1, 2 and another 1 and 2, you might get a pullback here. This higher low needs to be defended. If you lose that higher low, this is highly likely a 3-wave structure to the upside, right? You don't have an ABC flat. This B wave would have extended too much, so getting a bounce from here is unlikely, and the probabilities increase to take out that low if this higher low is taken. You want to maintain this lower time frame bullish structure. So naturally, if we were to get some kind of a pullback, okay, and we do form a little bit of a slowy range, right, slowy range like this, your invalidation is this one. That's your invalidation. So naturally, we are here to explain, you know, risk to reward ratio, right? A pullback would be ideal here, you know, not FOMOing long here. You need that pullback, you need that slowdown, and this would be your invalidation. And your target here could be $72,000, because you know, when you have that potential of a 1-2 or multiple 1-2s, it is interesting to speculate on the third wave, right? It is interesting to speculate on the third wave that could be on the formation in the next couple of days. So this has the possibility of being the low in a double zigzag. This has the possibility of being multiple 1-2s. Your best friend is your risk management and your invalidation levels, right, for this scenario. In that case, the invalidation here, if we were to get a pullback and hold on here, this would take at least a couple of hours, okay, based on timing. It needs to slow down, okay? It needs to channel. Downtrend needs to be a little bit of a staircase with a little bit of overlap, so we can understand that, you know, we might be moving to the upside in the next coming days in that wave 3. Naturally, we are looking for this, right? We are looking for that wave. If you didn't position yourself here at the low 65k level, great entry. You can be defensive already on that trade. You want to look for the pullback. You want to look for that higher low, a bit of a channel formation, overlap, staircase down, elevator up in this case, right? If you staircase down here, it could be interesting. You don't need to go all in. You can risk 1% to gain 4% potentially, right? Or 5% in this case. I haven't measured. Yeah, about 5 to 1 risk reward. If we were to get that pullback, right? It's all about, do we get the pullback or do we break out already in a third wave? That's for the people that, you know, oh, I've missed the long, you know, I was feeling bearish. It's not a good idea. The bear scenario is still valid. Bear scenario, the invalidation is this one. It's not looking that great, I have to say, based on timing, but the invalidation is 68.3k. So this is the thing about not having invalidation levels. I'm going to long. I'm going to short, right? Till the price, you know, decides to go, right? And you're like, oh, damn, you know, I'm underwater. What should I do? And we are here to learn that, right? You are here to learn the invalidations locally and just stack up more trades as you go in your journey, right? Stop loss is your best friend. Stop loss and risk management is your best friend in trading. So the pullback needs to be studied. Bullish case scenario is you form a 1-2, a 1-2, 3, 4, 5, right? You move up in an impulse. Maybe your impulse already started, okay? Maybe this is your wave 1 and 2. Your wave 3 is getting currently developed. If you do move to the upside here, continuing here with increasing volume and take out this lower high, what you would want to see naturally is that exhaustion, that little bit of exhaustion here at certain levels of resistance. In this case, we might have the point of control of this region where that's slightly higher. Value area low is of this zone is a valid level. I think we got anchored VWAP also. Where could the price, you know, get a reaction here in the 4-5s? Anchored VWAP from the high is just coming in here, just beneath this lower high right there at 68.8. Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned because this could pop out from the anchored VWAP, get down here, get to the value area low of this range that we had right over here. It is a bit of a rangy structure. That's where the 4-5s could ultimately finish. In that case, if we were to continue breaking up and form that little 4-5s, I'm talking about where to position yourself, right? If you wanted to enter a new long, because with this pump, it's not, you know, it's not, what's the word that I'm looking for here? It's not, oh man, I have this word at the tip of my tongue here. It's not recommended, right? It's not recommended to get into a long here after a pump when you understand the bearish case. So if you did not long down here, right? Which was an option. We give the options naturally inside of the trading community. Okay, the options are there. They are given. Okay, possible scenarios. Okay, days in advance. You know, also yesterday was the most important one, which was how the price could develop throughout the next coming hours, next one to 2 days, which is getting that, you know, lower high, take out the lows, and this is the zone of support that you have at the 65k region. You know, to get that bounce 1 2 3 6 extension, right, and look for that bounce in that region on the slowdown. So if you didn't long, right, say yesterday evening, yesterday night, or depending on where you are, you know, longing the pump is not recommended naturally, right, because you always could get that nasty rejection. So you need to finish an impulse here. You need to finish some kind of an impulsive move, right? So the pullback becomes naturally your game here to actually get into the long position, because if this turns out to be the wave one, right, and what we're looking at here at the moment is either this movement to the upside to be that wave one in an impulse. Naturally, if this is a wave two right over here, what we want to see is that first leg impulse to the upside, where throughout the weekend, right, it might pump, get exhausted, and in the weekend we just get that corrective move. If that is the case, I would be interested in a new position here. New position, if we can detect that movement down. We do have the valley area low. We finished an impulse to the upside, right? If we get extended here with the wave 3 and get that choppiness, point of control is actually there. So that could be interesting. This point of control right over here at 69.3 of this range, that's where we could slow down. That's where we could get the reversal, 69.3. If we continue with a bit of volume and then we get exhausted, point of control of the range, 1 2 3 4 5s, right? That's the level where we could reject, and this could be the area where we form a higher low, 50% to the 7-8. Throughout the weekend, we'll be studying this scenario with the updates inside of the trading community, naturally, just to really look for the next possible trading setup. As mentioned, you got the Telegram down below. Send me the word access. There's 2 months for free, guys. Okay, you just need to sign up and deposit a minimum amount for your own trading. Okay, it's down below in the description. Send me that DM if you want to join. So next along, there could be a short. I mean, there could be a short here at the exhaustion, at the point of control as well. If you get that grinding structure and that 4-5 at the point of control, 69.3k is a rejection zone. We actually can take a look at Fibonacci from the range highs to the range lows. Golden pocket is actually there. It is an interesting shorting level, 69.3 to 69.5. If you get a bit of double toppy price action, I am looking for a rejection here. That is if we do not reject from here now. Okay, it's very possible as well that we do reject here, but based on new opportunities, if we pop out and we get a little bit of a grinding structure here at 69.3 to 69.5, it is a valid short only when you're grinding a little bit. Form a correction, take out the high, and you're slowing down. So it could be a short down to the 50% Fibonacci, right, at a bare minimum, maybe even slightly lower, and then we could be looking for longs. This is a very rangy structure, guys. We need to trade the range, of course, trade the levels, because swing trades at the moment, this has the potential of a swing long. If this is the bullish case scenario, where this is a wave 1 and this is a wave 2, who knows, maybe in the next 2-3 weeks, right, we're trading, you know, at $80,000, and we're like, well, this, you know what, this was the higher low, right? And it's all understanding of the potential about it, right? There is that potential. You want to take some profits naturally on the movement up, but you want to maintain a solid position when you do understand that it has the potential, right, of breaking out in the next, you know, coming days, even 1 to 2 weeks. You know, you want to take advantage of that movement naturally, right? So if you did not get in on the lows at the low 65k level, the only next long opportunity is if we finish an impulse here. So, you know, it might sound silly here because you might think, hey, you know, this is bearish. It's going to go down to 60k. It doesn't matter. The chart gives us information to give us possible entry points. I do not know if the bearish or bullish case is going to play out, but I know the zones where we could position ourselves for the bullish case or the bearish case with good risk management. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. So the only new long opportunity, if you did not long here from lower, the low 65k level, you know, maybe could have gotten to that trend break. You know, Devil was very vocal about that. I would say it's a valid long, but longing here is, I don't think so. I would rather look for shorts naturally here. Preferably for the shorts, you have a tight invalidation here, right? If you reject from here, you know, your invalidation is 68.3k. That last lower higher that we had from yesterday. If you take out that high, you know, just realize that we could push up another $1,000. But the next short opportunity would be this one, which is more attractive for me at the moment. I explained based on the timing and based on this being a wave 2 at the moment is not looking good. It's just took a long time and it's pumping with high volume. You hit the 0.88 Fibonacci. Probabilities are low at the moment for a lower high. Okay, so and that's just combining Fibonacci and timing, right? Fibonacci retracement and time. The best shorting level would be getting exhausted, okay, at 69.3 to 69.5. After the volume pop, this is the zone where you need to see the price slowing down right there. That's the moment of a trigger, and this would only bring you a day trade short. So you need to detect that, you know, 4-5, okay, local double top. I have to say, you know, you need that range, that slowdown, so you can actually have, you know, that probability in your side. And this would only come down to the 50% Fibonacci, because I do think this pullback could be, you know, this could be a pullback. It could be a retracement where you're looking for a higher low. But and naturally here, once you get that exhaustion throughout the weekend is rangy and it can be corrective. This would be the area where I would be looking for a new long position if you did not get positioned here at the low 65k region, right? Because at the end of the day, this long trade is to take out 72k potentially. But the price moves in waves, and you know, maybe this is your wave 1 formation. You just high volume, your wave 3 is breaking out, you're forming your 4-5s, and naturally this would only be a scalp day trade short position to favor, in this case, the bullish case scenario, new long position or add to existing long positions to take out $72,000. Okay, so it's a short day trade at the point of control. Once you start getting a reaction and a little bit of that exhaustion, and I would be interested in that long position in this case to possibly hit $72,000. With that said, here we would have the possibility when we are still counting the wave 1, because we got an impulse correction here and a double zigzag. what we're looking at here is a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, 5, right? This is what we want to see here. So could this be the first wave 1 to the upside? And then the wave 2, 3, 4, 5, right? It's based on the timing and the symmetry. It makes sense for this, right? Nice symmetry here with the momentum. And as we understand, the price moves in waves. It doesn't move in a straight line up, right? I don't think we're going to pump to 72K today. It could, but I don't think it's going to happen. So naturally, we want to see that exhaustion at the point of control. That could be a little intraday short, okay, down to the 50%. And then throughout the weekend, we could be analyzing that correction and, understand, all right, guys, we might be getting the wave 3 here throughout Sunday, Monday. It might happen. It might happen. So we're going to look for a new opportunity depending on the move. If it just waterfalls down, then we're just not interested. So we need but the weekends are good for it because they are rangy, they are corrective. As we could have had this impulse from Friday, right? Today, Friday, it's kind of fitting nice for a correction throughout the weekend. Would be nice to see that, because then I would say, right, we might open, Monday next week in that impulsive move in the third wave. Let's see. We're going to be eyeing this. Okay, we will be providing those updates in the trading community. If you want to join, you have the first link down below, guys, which is the Telegram. Send me a DM, access. I'll share the instructions. Sign up, deposit. You got 2 months for free in the trading community. We'll be updating on the weekend because this is actually an interesting move, of course, that could develop here throughout the next coming days. We just need to go level by level, wave by wave, right? This is how we do it. We are only with the bullish case at the moment. There would be still a rangy bearish case scenario. So we need to talk about that. There is the rangy bearish case that needs to be talked about. But we're just following up here on some possible setups that could happen this evening. If we get that choppiness at that point of control, this could move down to the 50% even value area low. Could get a nasty rejection here throughout today and tomorrow. So we'll see. We'll see. Okay. This is the scenario for the bullish case, right? I understand that this could be ready for that movement up. We could be ready for that movement to the upside to take out $72,000. I want to take a look at the poll because, a lot of people would say 60K and a lot of people 72K. Let me just double check here the poll. Oh, it is actually a 50-50 almost. 2% more leaning on 72K plus. Interesting, but it's a 50-50, right? As explained, the probabilities at the moment are higher for the bulls. The probabilities are higher for the bulls at this moment to take out $72,000. However, there is the sideways corrective scenario, which ends up moving down. And that needs to be talked about, okay? Bullish case scenario, you form a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? You're forming a third wave throughout the next 1 to 2 weeks, right? It really just pops out. Then you have your fourth wave and then the fifth wave. We actually start turning into a new uptrend. But the other scenario, which is an A wave move to the upside, your B wave WXY double zigzag, what you would be looking for is an impulsive move. However, you're looking for A wave, B wave, and a C wave right over here. This needs to be studied as soon as we take out $72,000. We need to check the volume. We need to check the, how we're slowing down into levels of resistance. All right, we do have, I think, a value area low. We've got a lot of lows here. We do have a lot of lows that, could provide that resistance at 75K. if this bullish scenario does come to fruition. Value area low, yeah, 75k region is an interesting level. That's when you go through the higher time frame with the possible impulsive move to the downside here, which would be a 1 2 3 4 5, right? Let's turn this red because it is bearish, right? And you know, naturally, when we do take into consideration the channeling, right, when we do consider Elliott wave theory, you know, that would be moving up to the base channel here, which is a very common rejection point for a wave 4. Okay, not getting to the top of the channel. 50% Fibonacci from this speculative wave 3 is coming in also at 75k region, and that's talking about the local bearish, the local bullish, which is that C wave, but this is an ABC, right? It would be a 3-wave structure after all, just to form a lower high and form a wave 4, and then a wave 5 we get to you know, $60,000, right? This could take a few days, naturally, several days, and 1 to 2 weeks to develop still. So anyway, I just wanted to point out on the higher time frame, if that is an ABC, if we are forming an ABC, right, and we do get exhaustion, 75k region is going to be a very interesting zone to see if we do get that 4-5, right? We're finishing that impulse. Remember, we are here to detect the possible impulsive move, right? 1 2 3 4 5. The moment you've finished your 3rd wave and you have your 4th and then 5th waves like to double top a lot of the times, or they like to range, right? You're slowing down after the high volume move. So what we want to see here after a high volume move is remain patient for that 4-5, right? And that's where we would be looking for that possible short entry, because maybe this forms a 1 2 3 4 5, right? It absolutely tanks later on. This is speculating on the higher time frame, right? Bearish scenario, which locally would be bullish, right? Locally, you are stretching out here to take out 72k in the next coming days. Now, let's get all of this out of the way. I have to say, then I need to go to this one and start deleting all of this. Other scenarios. Wave W. This is a 3-wave move. It can be counted based on what happened here. So you can count this as 1 wave and this as another wave here. Okay, and this another wave to the upside. There is a 3-wave potential count here. That would be wave W, and this is the most complex scenario, unfortunately, which is we don't like a WXY because it could morph into many different things, right? It could still be a bit rangy here, unfortunately. And if it is going to be rangy, then we have a confirmation almost that we're going to roll down and take out the lows, okay? Because right now, what we want to see in the local bullish case scenario to take out 72k is a 1 2 3, right? Or an ABC, and we want that impulsive move to finish here, which is not the case. We want to see a little bit of that slowdown, 1 2 3 4 5. That's looking good for a correction throughout the weekend. Boom, 3rd wave right throughout Sunday evening, Monday maybe. We don't know. We're going to be analyzing that situation in the trading community. So yeah, sorry, I'm a bit lost here. Yeah, wave W. Let's go with the range scenario. And unfortunately, if we are forming a wave W, a WXY, we got a 3-wave move down, a corrective move in a X wave. Inside itself, it is a WXY in this case. For a wave X, unfortunately, a wave Y can be multiple different scenarios. In this case, another zigzag move to the upside would have a slight priority because the correction down was to 50%. It's still relatively shallow. So a zigzag move to the upside. So you'd have this as a wave A, right? If we do get that rejection at the point of control, right, of this range. High volume node right over here at 69.3. This could be your wave A, your wave B, and then your wave C here to finish a double zigzag, right? Very similar to the ABC. However, this ends up being a 3-waver instead of a 5-waver, right? Coming to 74, 75K region. Still looking for that movement to the downside. We'll have to go slowly with the waves and the targets, Fibonacci, inside of the community, but 75K region is the most attractive one. But yeah, in this case, unfortunately with that WXY, you could still form in a Y wave right over here. So it's not all bullish. It's not all bullish, guys, unfortunately, right? You could form that a flat move here, right, to finish your wave Y. W zigzag, wave X, complex double zigzag, and then your wave Y. It looks bullish. We don't finish our 4 5s. It's a 3-wave structure. If we were to reject throughout Friday, right, we might claim out the lows and pump throughout, you know, Sunday evening or Monday. And it just forms a flat, still rangy, still confusing, taking out the lows, taking out the highs. But then if we were to form this structure, then you know we are going down, right? Then you know I am very, very interested if you can detect that flat here based on this entire structure. I want to get into this swing short position because it's all about the timing, right? It's all about finishing that structure. When we were talking about this in the last couple of weeks, we got, guys, WXY, impulsive move down. Whatever happens here, yeah, I think I got the video here somewhere actually. You know, we're looking for that movement down. You know, this is regardless of what happens here at the 90K region, 91, 92. You know, there's high probability in breaking down below 80K. When you already have this information, it's like we are days away from breaking down. So naturally, for this swing attempt to take out $60,000, this could still morph into a WXY. Unfortunately, zigzag up can be a W. This can be X. You could form a cheeky flat here. It's all about detecting the liquidity grab. So liquidity grab up, liquidity grab down, and then back up. And then, you know, we'll be paying very close attention for this swing short. Okay, on YouTube. If we're not on YouTube, inside of the trading community, we'll provide the obviously the invalidation levels, entries, you know, in target zones. I did not give my famous disclaimer today. I think content is for educational purposes only, guys, and is not financial advice. The information provided is not guaranteed to be accurate or complete. Always conduct your own research before making any financial decision, legends. So a flat is possible in the bearish case. It's just continuing the range. What can we say? You know, we're just gonna have to remain patient for this scenario. Could take a few days naturally to develop. A triangle is also possible, right? Say that we pump, reject, we start forming 2 lower highs, 2 higher lows. Maybe this could be a triangle structure. If we do form a triangle, it's a completed, okay, WXY potential here to break down. This is much better to manage risk, I have to say, because once you detect the 2 lower highs and the 2 higher lows, right, what you're looking for is that A, B, C, D, E here. And once you have 2 lower highs and 2 higher lows, that's the moment where it looks very, very interesting. You know, for this is relatively simple. Your stop loss becomes above the C wave. You want to enter the E wave. You are targeting below 60K in this case. It's just how the price could develop, right? How it could develop and when are the trading opportunities. So for the moment, we're moving up. The wave 1 or wave A is very attractive. This could be a 1, 2, 3, right? We form that little consolidation at the point of control of this range, and we look for the rejection potentially later on tonight. Maybe if we stop here, get exhausted at 69.3, 69.5k, watch for the pullback. Watch for the pullback here, because you are coming into a point of control of the range. You are coming into the golden pocket from the high of the range to the low of the range, recent lows from yesterday, and you are potentially finishing an impulsive move to the upside, right? So you have the high volume in the middle, you have the wave 3. What happens after wave 3 is 4 5s and then pull back, right? So you want to pay attention to that little exhaustion. It is important for the exhaustion. It is muy importante, okay? Muy importante, because as you can see here with this movement to the downside, and this is something that we mentioned yesterday on inside of the trading community, where you have high volume move down. What happens after a high volume move down? You claim the lows with lower volume into levels of support, right? And this becomes your interesting zone to take the long position. This movement is exactly this one right over here that was explained yesterday morning, right? Watch out for that high volume move down in the next coming hours. This could be an ABC to finish a WXY, coming into the low 65k zone. Once the high volume finishes, you're going to see a slowdown in this 65k region. That slowdown needs to be detected, and that's literally this momentum right over here. Big move down, high volume, slowdown, 65, low 65k zone, reversal, right? And understanding that this has the possibility of taking out 72k in the next coming days. You know, it's going to take several days naturally, because we're analyzing the the possibility of either wave 1, wave A, wave B, wave 2, right? And then we get the wave C or wave 3, right? That takes out 72k. Let's much love to everybody. Thanks for joining the stream. Devil this morning, also talking about the for anybody that didn't join here, you could already speculate that you're forming a wave 1, 2, 3 here, based on the information that we knew that this could be the low locally. So you want to get into the wave 1s and 2s before the third wave kicks in, right? Not much that I need to cover on this range. It's literally all covered. Watch out for the slowdown now in the next coming hours. We are pumping. I know maybe the bears are going to be eager to short right now, but you need this to slow down. Wave 3s can be very special. They can be very, very special. Look at this pump that we had right over here with increasing volume. It was pretty special from this first move up and down, right? It was pretty aggressive. It was about a $6,000-$7,000 move to the upside that we had on the 6th of February. Look how it stops. Once it stops, right, that's when you get the pullback, and that's where double tops do look interesting. But you do not know when this is going to stop. You could have the best level of resistance, such as the point of control here of this range. It could cross this level, right? You just don't know. But if you get that slowdown in this range, then you know that pullback is very, very likely going to happen. So, in a nutshell, you are looking for the same thing as this, right? You're looking at this pump, and this. Then the reversal happens. So, you know, same applies to this. Little moves up, pump, little moves up, dump. Right, so it needs to consolidate. Once you consolidate here, you understand that a pullback is likely going to happen. And that's what, you know, what we could give here very, very internally. You know, there's not... you need that slowdown, though. You need the slowdown. And a little pullback and take out the highs again, right? Once you get that aggressive pullback, I already understand. If we get a little pullback here, I already understand that that's it. You know, your wave 3 is likely finished. So you're just looking for one more high or two more highs and then get the move down. But so you need that pullback and then take out the highs again. That's where it starts to become interesting for the short. But you need the first pullback. So if it doesn't happen, you know, we could just break through this level, right? So anyway, what else? What can we say? We're pumping. Pump it is. 72K. We are $3,000 away. I would not expect it to be hit today. I think we are going to slow down here. But who knows? Who knows? Nice little pump. Congratulations on the long traders throughout the last 24 hours. Let's go right away through the comment section. Yeah, we don't have much to cover more here, guys. Okay. If we get that slowdown in this region, I would be looking for a pullback naturally into the weekend. Okay. If we don't slow down and we just continue pumping, and it might just slow down here at 72K, right? It is what it is, but there should be a slowdown at some stage. And that's when you're interested in the pullback. If you don't slow down, then you just go higher. And the weekend is going to be interesting, okay? Anybody that missed a long position here, or the one here that Devil did provide as a breakout, understanding that this could be the low, understanding that this could be a wave 1, 2, 3, right? Stop loss at the low, or if you manage, you know, maybe yesterday night, you know, you did manage to get into that long, then I think the new long opportunity, we need to remain a little bit patient for the weekend here. Analyze this movement. Because, yeah, this could be a very, very choppy, overlappy, channel-y structure. And then, naturally, we would have to get those 4-5s, though, okay? It is super important to get that little rangy structure so we can have an impulse. Once you get that range throughout the weekend, yeah, we can speculate on that long, okay? We will speculate on that long position to take out 72K plus. If you missed out on long and lower, it's really about being patient here at this point. Let's go. Right, what else? Yeah, basically this is what we got in the range. This is basically what we got, not much more. I think it's for me it's pretty clear which kind of waves could be formed here. And I hope that the explanation has been pretty clear on the stream of what kind of movements can be developed. Okay, so interesting to see the poll of who's bullish and who is bearish. 72K plus. We got over 450, 60 votes. Smash up the like button, guys, if you do enjoy the content. Thank you very much for joining. We got naturally some more people now, a few more percentage here to take out 72K. We're not that far away, only just 3,000, like less than 3,000. I think we're going to get a pullback before hitting 72K naturally here, but it needs to slow down. If we get above that point of control, it's going to be interesting. It makes sense that the slowdown starts here. Point of control and golden pocket. This is really a rejection point here based on confluence. But we need that little grinding structure We need a bit of a slowdown here in the coming hours. Then we could say, right, guys, you know, it's time for the short. But we don't want to respect the pump, right? Respect the pump. We don't like shorting a major pump. We don't like longing a major dump. We need the slowdown. The slowdown gives us the potential for the reversal. The slowdown gives us the potential for the reversal, right? So patience is the name of the game. Much love. Oh, damn. Holy smokes. Don't tell me I've been doing the analysis all the time. My bad, guys. Holy smokes. Yeah, I've been doing the analysis here. Mueve tu cara, says somebody. The thing is, yeah, we did a collaboration yesterday with Devolt. My bad, guys. This is a little mistake. And you can't see price levels on Andy Amigo. I sold spot around 110k. But bought already back around 88k. I'm looking for another spot sell to buy back deeper. Opinion, pura vida. Kev, kind, much love to you. I've been buying some aggressively on spot here since we got this movement down. I bought a little bit as we lost 80k. We were trading at the mid 70k levels, and once we continued dropping down to the low 60k levels, I had to, you know, aggressively buy a little bit more. But this is a very big issue at the moment. When we consider the 4-year cycle theory, I know a lot of people are going to be expecting lower. I would say that the bear market is not finished naturally. Okay. I think it's still early stages. We do have on the higher time frame either a 5-wave move down with an expanding 5th wave. It could pop up to 98k. It is a possibility, and then move down, okay, throughout the end of the year in that ABC move, right? Just a 3-wave move. And then you have the double zigzag, which, you know, you have the zigzag here, correction in X, and then you have another zigzag. So you pump up to 80k, 85k zone, right? And then you form a lower high, and then the last move down here to potentially get below $50,000. I do think that we will likely get below $50,000. You know, I think we are going to get in this bear market below 50k. I do have. That's where I would really go heavy on spots. I'm having that little bit of cash on the side. I'm already, you know, very well spotted in you know, when we consider spots. So if it does pump to higher levels, then I would be more than happy. But I have a cash reserve that, you know, based on the technicals, it makes sense. Based on the higher time frame, it does make sense here that we could go down to below $50,000. Unfortunately, there is a bullish case scenario. Okay, there is a bullish case scenario, but I think a lot of people are not going to like this bullish case. I don't like it too much, but there is that possibility of an ABC flat. Not that I like really enjoy it on the higher time frame, but somebody was asking, you speak Spanish so well, bro. Yes, I am Spanish, born and raised in Spain. So yeah, thanks for the comment. Much love. Nico Sopi, we could still make out this scenario. It's okay. We could still make out the scenarios. It's okay. Nico Sopi, thank you very much. Yeah, you know, the price was to the right here because I changed the format on yesterday's collaboration and I forgot about it. Sorry about that, guys, but I think you could read the charts pretty nicely. Anyway, there is, unfortunately, for investors as well, such as myself, I want to buy cheaper Bitcoin. I do see the bearish case scenario on the higher time frame having the highest probability. It's early stages when we consider the 4-year cycle theory. I do think that we would, you know, the bear market is going to continue even regardless of very strong bounces. We're likely going to come down, till Q3, Q4 of this year. October seems like the sweet spot, right? Exactly 1 year of a bear market. That's what we've experienced on the previous cycle. It's exactly 1 year. There's a few weeks off, but it's a year, November to November, right? November of 2021 to November of 2022. Exactly 1 year. Well, not exactly, but I think there's about a week or two difference. Previous bear market was also 1 year, December 17 to December of 2018. 1 year, right? Do we get 1 year here also, right? That would mean round about October. I am in favor of that, actually. I've been in favor of the 4-year cycle theory. A lot of people are saying it's broken, institutions, all of this. 4-year cycle theory is still very much intact. Matter of fact, we do have very, very similar price action from the previous bear market. Okay, this is the previous bear market bars pattern. So, anyway, bullish case scenario when we consider Elliott wave theory, because we have a possibility of an impulsive move with an extended 5th wave here, and this could be a 3-wave flat and also a double zigzag here in this B wave and a WXY double zigzag. There is that, we're literally just slightly below the 1.618 extension. For the flat target on a C wave, it's 1.618. It could even go to the 2 to 1. It doesn't really matter. C waves can be very ferocious and an expanding flat. 1.618 is common. I'm not counting on this. Eventually, we're looking at the lows. You could form one more lower high here and then one more low, and this would look for a recovery throughout the next coming months. An impulsive move, right? A new uptrend. I'm not leaning on this, but it's something that you need to consider. You always need to have, a bullish scenario. What if this is the low? Is there a possibility based on Elliott wave theory that this could be the low? There is. But when we have macroeconomics, S&P 500 at all-time high, once S&P 500 stock market crash happens, once the 10-20% correction happens, which it will at some point, obviously Bitcoin crypto is gonna take the hit. It is gonna take the hit naturally, and we just continue the bear market right throughout 2026. So I don't think this scenario is going to happen. I am leaning bearish for the rest of the few months, regardless the bounces. Okay, when we understand the different bearish scenarios, the most attractive ones, there's two mainly. There's mainly two. One of them is this one. This one naturally is looking for a larger relief for the next few months. With one more low or without one more low, it makes sense to get a large relief after having a potential completed 5-wave structure that has the possibility even reaching above the 4th wave, which is a common target after an impulse. That would be coming down up to the 50% golden pocket zone from the high to the low. Right, so why not? It doesn't mean that it has to be bullish. It would just be a relief short squeeze, right, to then only move down later on. What you would be looking at here is a large ABC basically, right, to come down below 50k. Yeah, so the other one, this is a zone for bouncing here for the next coming weeks. Obviously on the 4-hourly time frame, we do have that possibility still of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We take out the low at 60k. Okay, it's still a possible unfinished impulse locally here on the 4-hourly. Still a lower high and a low can be formed, right? But this is only higher time frame. But it is looking very interesting for a multi-weekly bounce already in this zone. Other bearish scenario is, because this wave, this was explained, but for any new subscribers or any new people here, we do a higher time frame at least once a week, just to understand where we could be at when we take into consideration Elliott wave theory. This movement to the downside can be a three-wave structure, because inside of this you have the movement down in an impulse from all-time high, and this can be counted as a WXY. There is a valid count of a sideways B wave in a WXY here, or a running flat. WXY fits better. And then the impulse down here. And naturally you can fit in a three wave. The main reason why this scenario is actually quite attractive for me is because this range is a little bit overextended for a wave 4. Wave 4s are long. They're just not 5 times longer than usually, right, than your wave 2. It's still valid. You know, your timing is not an invalidation, but it does help with the probabilities. And based on that, because you have the potential of a 3-wave here, you got this 3-wave up in a WXY double zigzag, right? Where we were, understood that we're likely going to come down, right, in the last few weeks, right? We're counting this as the correction. We're ready to roll over. When we do consider this scenario, this would only be your A wave, and the bounce would not take out the highs here at $98,000. So really you're looking for a corrective bounce and then roll over and form another low, and it's just a double zigzag, right? Zigzag from all-time high, long multi-monthly correction in a WXY here. Since November, right, to January, so almost 3 months here, and now we're looking for a zigzag down. That obviously we're just in the first month. This could still take 3-4 months to develop easily, right? So I do lean on I do lean that the bearish continuation in the next coming months, regardless of the bounces, is likely, and I am in favor of taking out 50k. I am in favor of taking out $50,000, and this is I would go, I would sell. I've got lots of things to sell. I would be really going aggressive here if we do get down to below 50k to buy spot Bitcoin for the future, right, for the next coming years. So that's a little bit it on the higher time frame legends. Okay, Bitcoin currently getting a bit of a rejection. That's nice. That's a good sign. What we want to see for that pullback, we got our first little move down finally here after having high volume. After this pullback or a possible range, we want to take out the highs again, and this is where you could double top. That's where you could double top after this stop. Let's go to the 15-minute here, because this is what we've been explaining. Point of control has not been hit, if I'm not mistaken. Hang on a minute. Why is it changing? Yeah, why is the point of control changing here? For some reason it's been changing. Well, it's that high volume node basically. Like, there's a high volume node here. Sometimes it might fetch the point of control here or here. Gentle, yeah, literally haven't hit it just by $1. But this is where it becomes interesting after this pullback, because this is a double top zone. If after this pullback you claim the highs, this could take a few hours. That's the moment that you're already looking for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then the bigger pullback maybe throughout the weekend. So now it becomes interesting. to look for the shorts at the highs. Golden pocket as well, right? You got golden pocket from the range highs to the range lows. You got the point of control. You got 1, 2, 3 high volume move. Respect the pump. After a high volume move, if this does not turn into a 3-wave structure and you dump here very aggressively, we talked about the potential of a flat here as well. It is there, guys. So you know, you need this correction to form a higher low, take out the highs, then we have a potential local impulse here on the lower time frame. And that's where you're looking for that double top, fake out from the third wave, and then the pullback here. That's what I would be looking at to take that double top. Got a lot of resistance, a lot of confluence here. You got point of control of the range, and you have the golden pocket from the highs to the lows, which is a few $100s away. We missed it by a few $100s, but that's okay. You know, what we're looking at with Elliott wave theory here is that we got a high volume move. You know, it's all about being patient. We understand that now we could be forming the fourth wave that could take a couple of hours. And then taking out the highs is when you can double top. So with all of that confluence, naturally, which is, you know, that's what we want to see as traders. For this wave 4, your invalidation, I mean, this could still be 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you double top, but then you create another double top because you have a possible 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so maybe third wave is not even finished yet. You form another 4 and 5 just because you have the 1, 2, 1, 2 potential here. So it might, you know, correct down, take out the high, and then, you know, correct again. You might think this is it, and then you take out the high one more time, and then you correct because you have 2 1 2s. The second 1 2 would be part of your third wave. In the inside of the third wave, you want 5 waves. So it's something that you need to pay attention, that you could triple top here, basically, right? You go form one more top, and then you form another one, and then it goes down. Just because you have the double 1 2 potential here, right? So invalidation for this one, if you take out this lower high, this would be the invalidation right now. Yeah, if you correct down to 66.8, yeah, this would be literally a 3-wave move. I would be looking at this as a 3-wave, a high volume kicking in. Wave 4 invalidation, my bad. So that's the invalidation for an impulse. You know, basically to see this as a 3-wave structure, but for the wave 4, we should be bouncing in this region to take out the highs again. So it's important that wave 4 is formed in this box, and that we take out the highs later on. And you know, this is the one that could get the rejection, and then take out the highs again. That's the problem here with a 1 2 and another 1 2 here. So double triple tops, it is there's a lot of resistance. Just be aware, because it can be a bit shaky. It can be a little bit shaky, because I know you know, a lot of people would attempt very aggressively the first double top, but then this is a triple top zone. It could be a triple top zone because of the 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 4 5, right? And then it rolls down. Anyway, much love to everybody. It is Friday. Much love. If you do take out, if we do correct down from here, right, we don't form that wave 4, and you take out this low, then I'm going to be leaning on the flat idea for the next coming days, which would be a 3-wave move up, a 3-wave move down, and then the impulse. And I would be favoring the WXY. I know people are going to hate me because of this, because it just sounds like a bunch of nonsense, but it's not. And then I, you know, would be very, very interested in shorts naturally if we can detect that flat here. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see in the coming days. Whoever longed at this at the lows here, very good. I know some of the legend in the trading community legends. Okay, we were talking about that double zigzag inside of the trading community, which did bounce at the 1236. We explained how the price could move down here to the low $65,000. Getting that little consolidation after yesterday's drop. That's where we talked about inside of the trading community. This is how the price could develop between today and tomorrow after forming a lower high, coming down to the low 65k region, 1236 WXY, zigzag down. You got point of control here at 65k area of this little range, and obviously after a WXY, you're looking for the bounce to the upside. A few days ago, we were already speculating on that movement, but we had several options to get into that long position. You have the swing, if we get down to 65k, put a stop loss at the low. The risk reward is not that great, but I know a lot of people have their 9-to-5 jobs. They can't follow in the local scenarios, and sometimes you just say a higher low here has a good chance to happen. The low 65k region would be a very, very interesting zone for that long, to have the possibility of taking out 72k here in the next coming days. So if you're interested in the trading community, down below you have the Telegram guys. All right, you can get 2 months for free. You just need to sign up to one of the affiliate links down below, okay? And just send me the word access, okay? We'll get you the access for the trading community, daily updates, lower time frames, higher time frames, Bitcoin, other markets. You need 2 more 4-5s, in my opinion. Yes, very true. In favor of what you said there. Because we had a little bit of a consolidation here. Right, a little bit of a contracting move here in a 5-wave structure, but you got 1, 2, and then you got the 1 and 2, right? So it does make sense that after this high volume move that you do get a 4 and a 5 to finish your third wave, right? That's your wave 2, that's your wave 1. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to finish 3, and then you get the 4 and 5, right over here, and then you get the correction in the next coming days, right, throughout the weekend potentially. However, we do have the bearish case, okay? So the bearish case is this turning into a 3-wave move. If you finish with high volume and you retrace here, we would be looking for the flat here. All of this is to get into the bigger trade at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, it's all detecting the swing trade potential. If we do not take out $72,000 in the next coming days based on that support zone at the low 65k, it doesn't matter. There's another trade around the corner, right? We could speculate on the flat. There could be another long. There could be a short later. This would be the swing short down to 60k. We know that we're going to either pop up to 72k or 60k at some point in the coming days. And what we do here is try and detect, with the information that we have, our entry points. So far, this has been the main one here at the low 65k level, okay, to give that chance to take out $72,000 in the coming days. Legends, it is Friday. Much love. TP area for the short. Cristo, TP area for the short. Yeah, I mean, I would be very much aware here of forming a 4th wave, okay, 4, 5, 4 and 5. So if you start moving down very aggressively in the coming hours, then you're in a good position. But you literally catch, literally the point of control of this region, which was just slightly scratched by a hair. It was not even touched. but it is a solid resistance as well with a golden pocket. You know, some people will say, screw the 4-5s. I'm getting into the short here. Look at the resistance, right? You just need to give it a bit of room for, you know, this is an aggressive catch the pump short kind of trade. You want to give a bit of room above the point of control maybe. But if you ask me about a take profit, I think this could be an impulse. We could form some 4-5s, take out the highs a couple of times. So I don't have a take profit on the short. I would want to short the 4-5s, okay, get that exhaustion. You know, yeah, I know it is difficult for patience, right? It is difficult for patience. We talked about how the price could develop here on yesterday's update in the community, and it's after a move down, it is going to bounce. It's going to slow down, take out the lows, and this is what you're looking at here. We've got a correction. Taking out the highs right now could be the rejection point. That's the best short that you would have here to get into the 4-5. If you protect, realize that you would protect here naturally after that correction, but then you take out the highs again, and that's your next short. Stopped out at break even. Then you're looking for the corrective short trade here, which I would have to say, once you take out the higher lows here of the wave 4s, it's your first major target. But you could retrace down to the 50% golden pocket from this impulse. We're just going to have to see throughout the next coming days and also the weekend. Legends, it is Friday. Take advantage of spending time with friends, family, your dogs, whoever you love. If you like to be a lonely guy, then just enjoy yourself. Much love to everybody. Thank you very much for joining today's stream. Smash up the like button on your way out. Have a great weekend. Much appreciated. Fast up, fast down. It's not always like that, but yeah, sometimes I have to agree there. Sometimes it is. Thank you, legends. Take care. Trade safe. Stay safe. If you want to join the community, send me the word access. Super simple to join, guys. Sign up. Deposit one of the affiliate links. A minimum deposit just for your own trading will get you in the community for 2 months for free. Thank you, legends. Have a great weekend. See you in the next one.